The Princess Squeals is on many of the front pages this morning with the photograph that's been released. The Mail on Sunday. It's Kate Mansey joins me now. Gorgeous picture, isn't it?
It's a lovely picture,
Really
isn't it?
lovely.
Really wonderful. I'm not sure I'd look that clean up a tree with my kids.
But... No, and look, they're all just sitting gorgeously. I mean, they're all facing the camera. They all know what to do.
It's a really lovely image. It was taken by a guy called Matt Porteous, who's this kind of very natural it's an ocean photographer as well.
Oh, OK.
So it's somebody who's
lovely.
taken some pictures of them before. And that blouse sold out in kind of record time. It was £255 and it was gone.
Oh, it would
Hot
be. She could
cake.
wear anything and it just goes away. It's interesting, she's the one that usually takes the photos of the kids, isn't it? So normally she's behind the camera.
Yeah, she's got a very good eye herself, actually, for taking
very
photographs.
so.
But it's a really nice image.
It's
and everybody
beautiful.
knows how difficult it is to get good pictures of your children.
Yes, getting them all looking in the one direction is actually well done, everybody. Now, look, Harry and Meghan, let's talk about Harry and Meghan, because there's the whole kind of Frogmore Cottage debacle, and it's still ongoing.
Well, yes, I had a story in the Mail on Sunday at the weekend, which was about Frogmore Cottage. This was the place that they were given by the Queen, or they were allowed to lease it. It was their official residence, and the taxpayer spent £2.4 million doing it up. Now, my story at the weekend was, of course, they paid that £2.4 million back. We knew that. But what we didn't know, perhaps, was that they weren't then having to pay any more kind of monthly rental payments on top of that.
Right.
Now, the Palace say that that's because they spent £2.4 million, they raised the value of the property, therefore, you know, they did a good thing, and that was kind of rent in lieu. So they fulfilled their rental obligations. It wasn't that they paid no rent because they spent that money doing it up.
Right.
And so that was what was happening. But I think a lot of people would be surprised that they weren't paying any kind of monthly stipend on that, you know, particularly at a time when we're having to fork out for our own rent and mortgage in straitened circumstances. And the King is very keen to make sure that nobody's getting any kind of freebies or being seen to have grace and favour pads. And that's
But £2.5 million to do up... I mean, if you live in a rented place, I never understand why people put in, like, new kitchens, or they put in things when it's not going to be their house. You know, it's a strange one, isn't it? That they spent so... Well, I know they didn't know that they would have to pay it back, but they spent so much money on that house.
Yeah, doing it up. I think what they did is they kind of knocked several houses into one big house, which was probably part of it.
Right.
But yeah, £2.4 million on any house would be an awful lot of money, but to spend just doing it up is incredible, isn't it,
It's a strange one. And there's more details about the children, you know, including Lilibet, including both of their children, wee Archie and Lilibet, that they will, we think, be part of the coronation.
Yeah, so we have more details emerging kind of drip by drip about the coronation at the moment. So we know that the Wales children, for example, going to be in a carriage procession, and then there's lots of discussion about whether Archie and Lilibet will be there. Obviously, it's going to be Archie's birthday, his 4th birthday, on the day of the coronation.
You think it's for him? I'd be like, I'm on this for my birthday every year, thank you very much.
Every birthday's going to be a bit of a come-down after that, isn't it?
Absolutely, I know.
Where's the band? Where are the horses? So if they come over, and we still don't know if they're going to come over for the coronation, but palace sources have been saying for weeks now, we want them to come, they're very much invited, the King wants them there, and the ball's now in their court.
It is, and they have to do it quickly, don't they? They have to make up their minds quite fast, because it's only about 6 or 7 weeks until the big day.
Yeah, we've got less than 7 weeks now, so it's coming up fast, and there's been a report saying that they've got 28 days or something beforehand to let us know if they're coming or not for various logistical reasons.
Sure,
so
like security and stuff like that.
You would hope that they might, you know, give the King a little bit of advance warning if they're coming or not. And they're allowed to stay in Frogmore Cottage for that period, even though their rent finishes at their rental period finishes at the end of March. So they'll have somewhere to stay.
Oh,
they're very much invited.
They'll not be sleeping rough. It's all fine, it's all good. I think the King has got plenty of rooms that he could put them up in. I don't think that
they're not going to be out. They're not going to be in a B&B.
There's something that he's very, very keen on, and this is an amazing thing, and you know what people in this country are like, they will respond. It's for all of us to get involved in the coronation in a really, really good way. Yeah,
well, this is really interesting, actually, that we now can join in by helping with the big help out, which is going to happen on the Monday after the coronation on the Saturday.
Right.
And you can go online now and you can type in your postcode and have a look and see if you want to, you know, volunteer with the Ramblers or whatever your interest were. I think it's brilliant. And it's described to me as he wants to be a convener king, bringing people together. And this was something that somebody mentioned a few years ago when he was at that time still heir to the throne. that it's not just about bringing business leaders together to solve big problems like climate change. It's about local level community engagement, which I think is brilliant, actually, because it's not just about spending squillions on a big coronation pomp and pageantry. It's about, is this going to change local communities? And it's something that he's passionate about. So.
No, absolutely. And being a volunteer, it's not going to cost anything. Like maybe going out and, I don't know, picking up litter or getting together or just going for somebody for a cup of tea. I think it's a really, really great idea. I don't know how happy he's going to be about the crown, though. The crown continues to cause controversy. There's all this, and I must admit, I find this a little bit... I found it a bit shocking when I saw the image of Diana's car.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely appalling. I think it's really tacky. And a friend of the...
They've recreated it, haven't they? Recreated the Mercedes.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see it there. Somebody very close, a friend of the King's, then the Prince of Wales, described it to me very memorably a couple of years ago as trolling on a Hollywood budget. And I think it always stuck with me, that phrase, because I think that's exactly what it is. You know, big budgets. And to me, it's not the big things they get wrong. It's actually the kind of subtle manipulation. So even, you know, Claire Foy playing the Queen, launching Royal Yacht Britannia. Yes, the Queen gave a speech, but they've manipulated the words in that speech. So some of the words she really said, Queen Elizabeth II, but some of the words she didn't. And I think it's that kind of... I just think it's wrong, and I think... But that stays in your mind, doesn't it, as a viewer? And I think the viewers will watch The Crown, they might not know what's true and what's not.
It just feels it's too close. I mean, when we were watching it away, you know, it just feels as if we know this, we've seen the images, sadly, and it just feels very distasteful. I don't... Yeah.
Unless you're quite young, you remember where you were when you heard the news. And I think that sort of gaudy kind of... Using it as entertainment, I just think it's wrong.
I agree with you, 100%. Thank you, Kate. Great to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Thank you.